And we don't lose mobility because of age. We lose mobility because we stop moving.
Exactly.
And so when my back hurts, I think, oh, I need to touch my toes a little more. I need to do a little bit more side to side stretching.
Hi, I'm Crystal Luce, Professor of Education.
And I'm Amy Ketchum, pediatric occupational therapist.
Welcome to Plant the Seed of Learning, the podcast where we merge education and medical models to bring you science-based, practical insights on all things early childhood.
Whether you're a parent, teacher, therapist, or policymaker, we're here to help you support children from the start.
We are so excited to welcome our guest today. We have Jed Dearybury here, and he will offer so much wonderful advice pertaining to all things play for educators and parents, and anyone who just wants to play a little more.
Yes, we love play, so we are so excited to have you here today. Let me tell our listeners a little bit about Jed Dearybury. He is an early childhood education expert, author, illustrator, and education consultant. His mantra is to equip, encourage, and empower children in the classroom. He is an LGBTQ plus advocate. He began his education career in 2001. During his 13-year childhood classroom tenure, he received numerous awards, featured in GQ magazine as Male Leader of the Year, met President Obama as the SC winner of the Presidential Award for Excellence in Math and Science Teaching, and was named as a top 5 finalist for South Carolina Teacher of the Year because of his passion, love, and success in education. Since 2015, he has become an educational leader by providing quality, hands-on educational learning experiences for students and teachers across the country. In 2020, he published his first book, The Playful Classroom. His next book, The Playful Life and the Power of Play in Every Day, was released in October of 2022. And we are so thrilled to have you with us this morning. Welcome.
I'm so glad to be here. I feel like I'm just hanging out with two of my great friends. I said this before we started recording. I love y'all's area of the country and I had such a great time when I visited y'all. And it's so exciting to be here to talk with y'all, chat about play and all the other things that are going on in my life these days. So let's jump
Oh,
in. I'm ready when y'all.
yeah, we can't wait. I know the students that I teach will be excited to listen to this because I use your book, of course, in my class, and they get so many ideas from it.
Love that. I
So,
love you. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. Let's do a fact or fiction related to play.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, here we go. Physical play causes our brains to release a chemical called brain-derived neurotropic factor.
That is
Fact or
fact.
fiction?
That is fact.
Right
That is
on. That
fact.
came right from your book.
Yeah, I was quoting you as you said it because I didn't know you were going to say that, so I'm glad I could get. I knew. I'm honestly glad I remembered exactly what you were going to say.
I know. I agree. Sometimes people say something from the book we wrote, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, did we write that? Because
Oh,
you're writing and you're writing, and you just
and honestly,
forget.
the book, The Playful Classroom came out 2020. So we wrote that in 2019. So we're looking at 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, I still use the book in all of my work. I still use it. I still stand by every word of it. There's one section that talks about the Skype in the classroom. Skype in the classroom doesn't exist anymore. So you
No.
gloss over those pages. But
Right.
um, but
Zoom in the
honestly,
classroom now.
yeah, yeah, Zoom for the classroom,
Yep.
Google Hangout still is a thing,
Yep.
Team,
Yeah.
all the ideals of that are still relevant. But yes, the brain does release that. It releases all of these neurotransmitters, but the brain derived neurotropic factor is like this. I think we describe it in the book as like this gel that like oozes in your brain that like makes it
Mhm.
cohesive and it's filled with those neurotransmitters, the endorphins, the um, catecholamines, all the things that we need to make us feel good, to make us more
Yeah.
focused, and honestly, to make the learning stick. It's
Yeah.
all released when play is happening.
Play is amazing and all the good things it does for us. And in your book, you talk about this chemical and how it acts much like Scott's turf builder.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Help. Yeah, it helps the
Ah,
grass helps the
the
grass to grow,
turtle,
right? It helps
right?
the
Yeah.
grass to grow.
Yeah.
It's what helps the learning stick. Just this past week, I was at a conference here in South Carolina working with pre-service teachers. And I asked them to take a brief moment and discuss learning moments from their childhood that they remembered.
Yeah.
And every one of them, nobody remembered like memorizing all the elements on the periodic table. Nobody remembered all of the specific details on the timeline of their history of their state, but they did remember when their hands were on some type of learning, when they were physically involved, when there was a song, when there was artwork, when there was a play, when there was a
Mhm.
model that they built. There was hands-on. And that is when I think of the playful classroom, that is what I envision. I envision rooms full of students learning in that capacity, not just to sit and listen. I mean, I know sometimes we have to sit and listen
Sure.
for brief periods of time, but if we can take that and then add the layer of play to it, a lot of people see the title of the Playful Classroom and they think I'm just advocating for recess. I love recess. I love recess. I want more recess time, honestly, during the day. But I'm talking about that yes,
Right.
and recess and
Mhm.
teaching strategies, pedagogy that embeds playfulness into the learning experience.
I couldn't agree more. I
So
love
to
that.
make the turf grow.
Yeah, make that turf grow. And
Yeah.
I love how you were talking to pre-service teachers about their own play
Mhm.
experiences. In the grad course I teach on play, I have them do something very similar where they write about their experiences with play
Mhm.
in one paper. And then right after that, another paper is due where they interview an elder and what
Mhm.
their play experiences look like. And every one of them always comes back with the elder is playing in the woods or
Mhm.
playing
Yeah.
outside. There was so much more outdoor play happening than what is happening today.
Yeah, I do think that that is an unfortunate side effect of the technology that we live with.
Hmm.
It does keep us outside. I think we as the adults have to encourage that for our kids and make sure those moments happen. Take them to the park, take them to a hike, visit the lakeside, the shore, wherever you are,
Right.
and make sure those outdoor moments are happening. I try to walk 3 miles every day to make sure that I'm outside. I go to a rail trail downtown it's not deep in the forest, but it goes through some trees. It's a urban rail trail, so it's not like through the woods per se as much as I would like it to be. But we have other places where I can visit and do that. But I'll tell you, after I get done with those 3 miles, just being outside for about 45, 50 minutes is just rejuvenating. I try to go after my typical work day is I get up and I go to a coffee shop that is actually right on the trail, and I will work there till around lunchtime. I start around 7:30 and work till around 12:30, and then I'll go for my 3 mile walk, and then that gives me that boost that I need
Yeah.
to like be productive ish be productive ish in that after lunch space. It's usually some task at home that requires just very little brain power at that point.
Yeah.
um, but the play of the being on the walk, it rejuvenates me. That being outside, it fills me up.
Yes, and that's why recess is so important, and more states are getting on board with adding additional time for recess.
All right,
So
yeah.
that's fantastic. Let's talk about you, since we have you for such a short amount of time. And what are you working on right now, so our listeners can be
So I,
aware?
if memory serves me correctly, the last time I saw y'all was the fall of 24. Is that correct? Was it fall of
Um,
24? Because it wasn't this past fall, was it? Or was it fall
no,
25? Was it fall
fall of
20?
25, fall of 25,
It was fall
right?
25.
No.
So y'all knew about this. Did y'all
Yes.
know about this? Okay, you knew
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But do you know about this?
No.
Destroy
Oh,
the
that's what I
box.
want to hear about.
Yes.
This is the new one. It just came out. Literally like a month ago. It was supposed to be released March 30th, but it didn't come out until like right near the end of April. There was some issues with the printing and all that jazz. But anyway, we got it straightened out, and now it's out in the world. It is called Destroy the Box. It is about a little boy who discovers his creativity by destroying boxes. And then there's this underlying message that I bring into the reading, and I do a keynote speech with this. I do workshops with this. There's one specific page in the book that I really like to talk about, and you can infer here. The little boy is learning how to crush boxes to make art because his mom makes art, and he says as he gets into it, he says that it was really hard work because some boxes are really strong and they're tough to cut, and some boxes are really huge, even bigger than all of us.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes you have to climb in the box to destroy it. And I bring out the under, that's he's talking literally right here about boxes, but there's lots of figurative language there that alludes to structural boxes that have been put on us by society, by educational institutions, by just life in general.
Hmm.
Uh, and in the end, the little boy finds his creativity, and makes some really great art. I'll show you his little pieces. He makes these little characters out of cardboard. Um, and it's just a fun little book. And of course, look, it's kind of me. It's me.
I, oh
Oh,
my
that's so
gosh.
great.
Like
That's
me.
you as a kid.
Yeah, me as a kid.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, it's
although
amazing.
I gave him brownish hair. When I was a kid, I always thought my hair was brown, but I realize now it's very black.
Oh, it's a
But as a
dark
kid,
brown.
I always thought it was brown. Um, but anyway, that is what I just finished.
It's
And
beautiful.
literally, so what I'm literally working on right now, like before I got on this call, I am writing a book for my children's literature course that I teach for the University of South Carolina, and it is titled The Art of Children's Literature. And it is all about children's literature, the history of children's literature
Oh wow.
through present day. I talk about um, authors of history, the authors of the present day, the themes of the books, the different layers of using children's book and teaching.
Yeah.
There's going to be a couple of lesson plan samples at the back that'll get you started to kind of like plan your own with children's lit. There's a whole section on banned books.
Oh
Um,
boy.
yeah, it's
I,
just I'm really proud of this work. It's going to end up being about 200 pages, which will be used as primarily as the textbook for my course, but I am going to offer it to the world out there if anybody else wants to use it. Or I don't know if you guys have a children's lit course at your school.
we do. I
It would
don't
be,
teach it. It's actually taught outside my department, but we
oh,
do. It's a
well,
requirement.
tell them you know a guy who wrote a brand new
I'll have
book.
to tell
Um,
them.
yeah,
Okay.
and
Congratulations on your box book. I
yes.
love the focus on creativity because play and creativity go hand in hand. And sometimes when I'm discarding boxes, I actually think about how beneficial they'd be for kids.
Mm-hmm.
All those Amazon boxes that come my way.
I'm
Right.
upset.
Yes, right. Hmm.
I probably I you know what? I am not embarrassed. This is playful. I like Fruit Loops and I like Lucky Charms. There, I said it.
There you
I know
go. So
I know those aren't the best cereals for me, but I like them.
that's
And I
fine. So listeners, Jed is holding up boxes of he's holding up empty cereal boxes, Lucky Charms and Fruit Loops. And I just want to say, your book, Destroy the Box, the illustrations are absolutely beautiful. It looks really, really beautiful. So we'll definitely put a link to that in our show notes where our
thank you.
listeners could go on and find and purchase that book. So thank you so much for sharing that and these amazing things you're putting out into the world. So, as an occupational therapist, I want to talk a little bit about physical play and why that is so beneficial. Obviously, we know that it builds motor skills, fine motor, gross motor. There's so many benefits to strengthening the body and building that sense of balance and coordination. And in your book, you provide several examples of why physical play is so important. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, honestly, the biggest benefit for all of us, children all the way up, it is the physical health benefits.
Uh-huh.
We live in a day where it's very difficult to avoid processed food, fast food. We go out to eat with our families, and while there are places where we can eat healthy and make good choices, they're not always there for us. And you know what? A little splurge every now and then is okay. And the physical play helps combat that. It keeps us active, it keeps us moving. It lowers our blood pressure, it lowers our cholesterol, it lowers our triglycerides. The years and years ago, well, not years, not that long ago, 2009, I had a really bad scare health wise because I was pretty overweight. And the doctor said everything that is wrong inside of your body can be fixed with movement. And by movement, I heard play. I heard
Great.
skip to the mailbox. I heard walk around my neighborhood. I heard join a kickball league. I heard go for a run. And all of those things were playful. Now,
Yep.
they're not playful for everybody, right? But all of us probably have some sort of movement that could be playful for us.
Hmm.
Maybe you like to dance. Maybe you like to hula hoop. There was a wonderful lady. She's passed away now. She here in town. She was a former teacher. She started a hula hoop club. She started a hula hoop club, and they met on the town square, and they would hula hoop for an hour.
Oh my
And you
gosh.
know what? Like, look, people who walked by probably thought they were a little wacky, grown people out there hula hooping. But the benefits of that. So
Mhm.
guess what I did as part of my play to try to lose weight and get my cholesterol and triglycerides in? I got on the Wii Fit, and guess what I did? I hula hooped with the Wii Fit.
I love it.
My
I
I
goodness.
did.
love it.
It,
Yes, we need to encourage adults to play,
yes, I
whatever
mean,
that looks like.
You know, I the playful classroom, I know we're talking a lot about that, but I'm jumping over into the Playful Life book.
Okay.
Um, Specifically in my mind, I'm assuming most of your listeners are grown-ups, and I just turned 48 years old. And as I get older, there are definitely days where I can tell maybe the back has a little pain that it's not used to, or the knees catching in a way that I'm not familiar with. Um, and so I've been learning a lot about mobility and as you age, and we don't lose mobility because of age. We lose mobility because we stop moving.
Exactly.
And so when my back hurts, I think, oh, I need to touch my toes a little more. I need to do a little bit more side to side stretching. I need to hula hoop. I need to hula hoop again. And so
So important.
um, and those are all very important pieces of play.
Mhm.
But then also from kids to grown-ups, the the mental health
Mhm.
benefits that you get from playing.
Mhm.
I know that's not as much in the physical, like what we were talking about specifically, but the mental benefits that you get
Mhm.
if you're having a bad day and you go for a walk or you color, you ask something else I worked on. I just did a coloring book. It's a 40-page coloring book.
Great.
Um, Coloring can bring your stress down. It can cause your blood pressure to drop, and if you're experiencing high volumes of stress, and so um, the health benefits just are. We
Mhm.
don't talk enough about it. We
Yes.
don't talk enough about
Yes.
it, and I'm so glad that there's at least two advocates out there in the world spreading the message of the work
Oh, yeah.
uh, out there. So thank y'all.
Yeah, I'm so glad adult coloring books have become a thing. And you can
Yes,
get them with
yes.
every theme for anybody. And
So I will tell you, I love those adult coloring books.
mhm.
But I confess that sometimes they stress me out because I see the pictures and I think, oh my gosh, I don't have time to finish that one. It's too much. It's too
Yeah, they're
detailed.
intricate.
So
They are.
that's why, and for your listeners, if you see these pictures, they're big and bold pictures
Okay.
with a little bit of details, but
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
could finish that in one sitting. It's not going to
Right.
take you days
Yeah.
and days, right?
Right.
I
Right.
intentionally, it says it's a coloring book for everyone.
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
wanted adults to be able to color like when they were kids. Not everything has to be adult, you know?
So true.
No.
And
No.
when I see those adult coloring books, they make me a little nervous because some of them are like lots of things to
I
color.
know.
That's true.
Yeah. They're
That's
very
true. I feel
intricate.
like some adults can go with the child's coloring book, but some
Yeah.
need to see the word adult to make it feel
Yeah.
like it's okay
Yeah.
for them to
Of course they
protect.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
You
definitely learned
oh,
since I've been doing this work the last 6 years, what adults need most is they need permission
Yes.
play.
mhm.
They
Yeah.
need to give themselves permission and they need to hear other adults give them permission. I know it's unfortunate that we need permission from others sometimes, but I
Mhm.
think the way our society is structured, that as an adult, we feel, especially here in America, we feel work, 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 work.
Yes.
That is the way. And then you get a week vacation, and then that's your play, and then back to work, right?
I know. So
But
true.
we need to give each other permission to, like I said earlier, skip to the mailbox. Who cares if your neighbor thinks you're silly? Skip it to the mailbox. Skip right out there and dance while you're getting the mail. I don't know. Just
I know. Oh, you made me think of something, several things. One, the coloring books brought back so many wonderful memories in my mind of my childhood because I used to love to color. And two, skipping to the mailbox. I'm a runner, so I'm out running and I'm down at my local track. I'm doing repeat 400s, and this woman has her AirPods in, and she is dancing around the track
love it. I
doing
love it.
laps, dancing. And I thought, I love this woman because she's
Yes.
not afraid to dance
Good
around the
for her.
track.
That's
Look, I
amazing.
will tell. Look, I grew up like everybody else that would probably look at that woman and be like, "What is she doing?"
I
Right?
know.
But since I have embraced my own playful life and playful living, that mindset has shifted. When I see
Yeah,
people like that now, I just want to go over there and dance with them,
me
you know?
too. I wanted to high
And
five her.
yeah, and be like, "You're just living your life," and I love
I know.
that because in the
People
long
see the
run,
joy.
yeah, in the long run, that person is going to have so much more benefits,
Yes.
um, you know,
Yes.
inside and out,
Yes.
Yes.
And a
because
child would do that. If we saw a
and a
child
child,
dancing, we
yes,
would not think a single thing. Or a child skipping to the mailbox, we would think, great, good.
Mhm.
yeah.
Wouldn't think a single thing
Have,
about it.
have,
But why can't we do it too?
one of the things that lately there was this video that went viral a couple of weeks ago, and it was like adults trying to skip, like they had forgotten to
I
skip. Did y'all happen
saw
to see that?
that.
No, I
Yes.
didn't.
It was the funniest
It
video.
was funny and sad.
And I
I
will tell you, most of the people in the video were grown men, and they could not remember how to
could
skip.
not skip.
It
That's
was
so
hysterical.
disappointing.
I found lots of joy in that video.
Me
Yeah.
too. Oh yes,
Uh,
Oh,
go
I'm
find
going to
it.
have to find it. I will find
Go
it.
find it.
uh,
Just
uh,
adults trying to skip. It's
Okay.
hysterical.
since we're talking about skipping, I'll tell you this funny story. When I have a core memory from my childhood about skipping, the very first report card I ever received in kindergarten. This was back in the day when everybody got S's or N's, right? Satisfactory, needs improvement. And I got all S's except for one N, and it was because in 1983 I could not skip. I could not skip in 1983, and they put an N on my report card besides skips. So when that report card came home, and it being my first one, really, honestly, I think that set me up to be like a C student from the rest of my life
Oh no.
because because I was so devastated that I didn't get all S's. But anyway,
Oh.
my family, my mom and my stepdad, I remember very vividly all of us in the living room trying to teach me how to skip. And I had this little horse, on a stick. You know,
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about? Like a little
of
horse head
Oh,
with a stick.
yeah.
And
course.
that was what they used to teach me how to do it.
Well, then
And
you were probably galloping.
I was galloping. That's what I did. I galloped. I galloped.
Oh, and that, oh my gosh.
Eventually, I got it. Eventually, I
Yes.
got it. I got the S the next 9 weeks, I think it was.
Oh my
Oh, well,
gosh.
speaking of, the S's and
Yeah.
report cards as a whole, I think of all the children out there in the early years. So, K to 3, when we're still developing our brains and still figuring out the process for learning, I feel that play is so important during those years when self-discovery is needed and just inquiry-based learning and problem solving
Mhm.
and communication, and all of this happens through play.
Yeah.
We need to foster more creativity and imagination. Um, so do you have any recommendations for how this should be happening in the classroom?
This is what I tell teachers every time that I work with them. They hear a conversation like this, and their brain immediately goes to um, maybe let's start with something. Their science curriculum. They want to
Uh-huh.
they want to rewrite all their science curriculum and make it playful. That is the best way to shoot yourself in the foot and burn yourself out if you try to rewrite your whole curriculum right off the bat. So I tell people, and I think I've said this when I saw y'all, look at the nooks and crannies
Mhm.
of your space. Look at the nooks and crannies of your day, how you can interject little moments of play.
Ah,
In your classroom, when your students are lining up, do you just say, okay, table one, line up, table two, line up? Or do you say, table one, be a raccoon as you make your way to your line?
yeah.
Table two, be a snake as you make your way. It, that's one area of the day. It doesn't have to be this perfect little structured moment.
Uh-huh.
That's a little nook and cranny where if you tell them to be a raccoon, they're having to think about the characteristics they know of a raccoon, implement that into a physical movement. That's deep level of thinking.
It
Yes.
is.
There's deep cognition right there. And then if you throw in and you have to be quiet, a quiet raccoon.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that looks like. Make your ears, I don't know. Make
Yes.
your stripes on your face. Um, and then the snake, I mean, it's just that's a nook and cranny
Yeah.
where also you could say something like, as you make your way to your spot in line, I would like you to hop a number of times that is divisible by 4.
Mm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know so then you're bringing in core curriculum while you're doing it, and they're playing at the same time.
You're talking about effective transitions, which
Yes.
sometimes are totally overlooked in the classroom setting, and it's a
Look,
teacher's
and that
worst nightmare, like the bad
they are, and
Yeah.
that's why I say start with the nooks and crannies,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because also when you change those nooks and crannies, you're also changing the culture and climate of your classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And that is saying to your students that play is allowed here,
Mm-hmm.
play is valued here, play is a part of our curriculum, play is learning, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you're changing the mindsets of those children as you do the nooks and crannies. Then honestly, it will instinctively spill over into the other areas of your curriculum, because let's say you have done that with your lining up, and then you're teaching your math, and the student says, hey, we did multiples of 4 as we were lining up.
Mm-hmm.
Could we do multiples of 4 right now? And you do jumping jacks into multiples of 4. I don't know. I
Yeah.
just
Right.
I don't know everybody's curriculum, everybody's standards that they have to teach. I know that we have, the district mandated things, but in those curriculum guides, you are still in charge of how that is delivered.
Yes.
Mhm.
You are still, and that is why you hear me say that play isn't one more thing on the plate.
Mm-hmm.
It is the plate.
Yeah.
It is the plate where you put all the things.
Yes.
So take that curriculum guide, figure out how to make it and serve it on a playful plate.
Yes.
Mm.
And in
And so,
doing that, allowing space for creativity and
yeah.
imagination, even in those transitions and the classroom management piece. That's so brilliant.
Now, I want to say this too, because I'm sure there's a novice teacher out there, a beginning teacher. They may hear this and say, "Oh my gosh, I can't do this. I can't do this. I don't think like that."
Mm.
You know what? Not all of us do.
Mhm.
Not all of us do instinctively. Sometimes it requires a little bit of work, but I can promise you this: creativity cannot be used up. The more you use it, the more you have it.
Mm.
Creativity is a part of your brain that, like any other part of your brain, has to be worked out. It has to be fleshed out. You can become more creative. I know this because I am experiencing it every day of my life. Some days when I spend time in this office and a new idea is born, I think back 10 years ago, that wasn't a strength. I'll give you a classic example. I have now illustrated 2 books, and I have drawn a coloring book, and I have made all this amazing art that I sell at local art fairs and things like that. If you would have asked somebody 10 years ago who knew me if they would have thought I would have ever illustrated a book, they were like, well, no, because he doesn't draw.
Oh my
They
gosh.
they didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't, because I was so consumed with other things that I kind of put this off in the
Mhm.
background.
Mhm.
Then once I started leaning into my art, I could do it, and I got better and I got better. And it's like anything else. Art is just a way I reflect my creativity. Some people out there may reflect their creativity by creating amazing lesson plans, by coming up with really neat transitions for their nooks and crannies, by
Hmm.
coming up, we all our brains all work differently and we express that thought differently. Creativity is the platform of that. The actual definition of creativity does not have anything to do with your ability to create art. It's often misconception. Creativity literally means to transcend a traditional idea into something new and meaningful. That's what it means. So instead of this, I'm holding a pen in my hand. Instead of it being a pen, what else could it be? Right? Transcending it into something new and meaningful. Those nooks and crannies of your classroom, instead of the same old, what else could it be?
Yeah.
Instead of the bulletin board just being a display, what else could it be?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of the tables and chairs in your room arranged in a certain way, how else could they be arranged?
Mm-hmm.
It's thinking the traditional idea into
Yeah.
something new and meaningful.
That I love that exercise. I
Yeah,
do a camp catch 'em with my nieces and nephews every summer, and
love that.
they love to swim in the pool, and we do activities and we do little races and so forth. And then last year, it was a little rainy, so I took them to the dollar store and I gave them each $5, and they had to find something that they were going to repurpose into something completely different.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
whatever was most innovative got a prize.
Yeah.
And that activity they thought was the most fun of anything. And Aunt Amy has a pool. So it was really fun for them to, use some creativity and innovation and come
Okay,
up with different
I want to
things.
give you another idea that's along that same line.
Okay.
Very similar. So, several for the last 3 years, I didn't do one this year, but the last 3 years, I held a play conference here in Spartanburg, where I live.
Okay.
And it's one of these things where there's tables, and I wanted it to be nice for the people. But the first year I did it, I made all these centerpieces for the tables. And I'm not gonna lie, it drove me nuts to create the centerpieces. I just couldn't stand it because I felt like this was something that I could have let somebody else do. But
Mhm.
right, I didn't, right? So the next year, I gathered all of these random materials, kind of like what you just said.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, I had sand buckets from the Dollar Tree, and then I had cardboard and cardstock and wooden skewers and colored tape and wiggly eyes and balloons and party hats and all these just random materials all spread out on the table. And their very first task when they sat down as a group at the conference was to create their own centerpiece.
Oh, great.
Create their own
Oh
centerpiece.
my
So
gosh, I love
take
that.
that to your camp space.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe on the first day of camp, they create a centerpiece for the table where they will eat, where they'll make art, where they'll read, whatever they're doing with you that week. They create a centerpiece of using all the recycled materials. And I'm going to tell you, the people at the conference loved that.
Uh-huh.
And now, I said it was at my play conference. The first time I did that was at an ed camp that I hosted in 2018. That's when I did the first. I was like, I'm not doing any more of these centerpieces, and
Mhm.
it's a game changer. People love it because also, guess what? They're playing.
Yes.
Right.
They're also talking to their table. They didn't know everybody at the table, so they were interacting. They were getting to know each other. You were learning as the presenter. I was learning at each table who's the leader of the table,
Yeah.
who's
Oh,
the
yeah.
hardest
Oh,
worker,
leadership.
who's the hardest worker, who's the
Yeah.
one that's going to wait on everybody and tell them what to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And all
And
the STEM activities that you
and
embed when they're
exactly,
creating.
it was all of that in one beautiful moment, and the stuff they created. I mean, it was the best.
I love that.
Almost every table always creates because I give them wiggly eyes, and so there's always, it always morphs into some sort of person that's their
Mm-hmm.
sort of caricature of a person that is their centerpiece. But gosh, it's such a fun time. So do that with your nieces and nephews this summer and
Okay.
see what they come
Great.
up with.
Great for adults or for children. That is
Absolutely.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is a perfect segue when you talk about doing this as a group activity. You talk about how play builds relationships in your book. So
Yes.
talk a little bit more about that, the sort of the social piece of play.
Well, the first aspect for that is to me is that regardless of who you're playing with, it can be a perfect stranger
Mhm.
or somebody you know. Um, when you're having a moment of play, it's hard to be angry, to
Mm.
be frustrated, to
Mhm.
be, granted, I know that those things creep in, especially when you're playing board games with the family night. Monopoly, you know, can the board can get flipped.
Right.
Um, but for the most part, when you're playing with someone, your guard is down, you're relaxed, you're just having fun.
Yeah.
And so that strengthens the relationship. But also when you're playing with someone, let's say go for a hike, because that is a form of play. It's natural that you're going to be conversing and talking and investing in one another.
Yes.
When you're playing alongside one, you're investing in, I see it as you're investing in their mental health,
Hmm.
just like you are your own mental health. You're investing in your friend's mental health when you play with a friend, when you create art with a friend. I love it when I had a great friend for a while. She's still a great friend, but for a while we had art night at my house, and she would come over. And she was an art teacher, and we would have art night at my house, and she would teach me how to do different artsy things that I didn't know how to do.
Oh,
And it was the best. And we would get lost into
yeah.
it. We'd get lost into it. And we would say we were just going to spend an hour. And next thing you know, it'd be 3 hours. And she'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I got to get home. I
Mhm.
got dinner. I got to fix dinner. Or, I got to go eat or something." Um,
Yeah.
it was a mutual investment in one another's well-being is the way that I see when you
Oh,
play with a friend.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I
And,
think that is so
I think
cool.
about it as, as related to the classroom. A lot of our kids, you don't really know how to make friends. I don't know that anybody says, "Okay, this is the way you make a friend."
Of
You
course.
know, I don't think that is a conversation that we have with children.
Hmm.
What we do is we say, "Go over there and play and make a friend." Right? Like I have this great friend. Her name's Meg, and she has two kids. And the oldest is 6 years old, and we'll meet up at like a brewery or something, and they always have like the outdoor space for kids to play. And
Sure.
the oldest, she will just go right over there and she'll be friends with everybody that's out there. It-
Ah, yeah.
Friendships are born through playing. They're making a little rock collection, or they're in going down a slide, or they're on a swing, or that they're build. She's learning how to make friends through play. That's how you do it.
Right.
Play in the classroom creates that sense of community. And
It
you touched
does.
upon that earlier. Kids naturally communicate with one another and walls come down through
Mm,
play. I know I had a selective mute student when I taught kindergarten, and it took months for him to come out of his shell, but it was through play that he started engaging with other kids. He didn't have play experiences before he came to kindergarten because he was at home with adults all the time and there wasn't a lot of play. He didn't
right.
know how to play. So
Mm,
sometimes we have to think about we need to teach kids to play because not all kids have the same play opportunities
correct. Yeah.
to build those
And
relationships.
the best way to teach them is to give them, the time, the space, the opportunity to do that.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, every single day, I feel like there's some school somewhere that limits that further. Sometimes it's with, policies that are passed, but sometimes it's also with fear and intimidation
Mhm.
of, oh, our scores are not high enough, so we need to be focused. And then the teachers think that they can't play because if it's going to impact their scores negatively. I would
Oh,
say on the
right.
contrary, it's probably going to help your probably going to help your scores.
That's what I was just going to
Yeah.
ask you with all the mandates, the state
Yeah.
mandates, the mandatory curriculum. Teachers definitely feel they don't have a lot of time to
Yeah.
play in the classroom. You talked earlier about transitions and
Right.
how to make them look play-like. Do you have any other recommendations for teachers for infusing play
So
when
I
trying to address standards?
Yeah. So number one, look at your standard. And I would say, look at the one that you yourself think is boring to teach.
Ah,
And if you think it's boring to teach, then odds are your kids just hate it, right? They do not want to hear you talk about um, the ecological advantages or disadvantages of the Barrier Island ecosystem, or whatever. I just pulled that one off my head because I live in South Carolina and we have Barrier Islands, and that's a standard, right? So if that's boring to you, then you've got to figure out a way to infuse art to bring a game, to take that lesson outside, to do some role play, some theater, something, you've got to think about a way to deliver that other than just a slideshow of facts,
Mhm.
okay, or
Yeah.
note taking.
Mhm.
Um, the when I think about the mandates and the curriculum guides and all those things, it and where I am, and I know that somewhere this may be different, but where I am, we have those mandates, we have those curriculum guides, but it is not always word for word scripted. You must do it this way, right? And
Mhm.
even sometimes I taught in a school where my reading curriculum was scripted, okay? But guess what I did? I let puppets read the script.
Oh, wow.
They didn't say I couldn't do that, right? They didn't say not to. I let puppets read the script.
That is
Okay.
so great, especially for
Great.
something like foundations
Yes.
or
Yes. It's
Heggerty.
and
Yes.
look, and then you can take it at another level. Let kids make puppets and talk back with their puppets. They don't have, that's a very easy way to make anything playful.
Yeah,
It's funny.
it could
I talk
even
about
be a popsicle stick
Yeah.
puppet. It doesn't have
Yeah,
to be
it can be.
elaborate.
Yeah, it doesn't have to. So when I have
Ah,
one of my dearest friends now as a grown up, his name is Jamie. I taught him in first grade in 2003. He's pushing 30, I guess. Almost. I'm thinking,
Oh.
I think he's be 29 this year. That seems right. 28, 29.
wow.
Um, he's one of my dearest friends as a grown up. He lives in the neighborhood next to me. We go out to dinner once a month, still to this day. And a couple of months ago, I asked him, I said, Jamie, what do you remember most about first grade? You know, he said, we made a lot of bag puppets. And he was right. We did make a lot of bag puppets because we did a lot of role playing and a lot of acting out and a lot of talking about, hey, do you know what 2 plus 2 is? Yeah, 2 plus 2 is 4. You can make anything playful with a puppet. I'm just saying.
I want to be in your classroom.
Yeah, for real.
Well,
Oh.
I will say, I think that um, I loved my classroom in elementary school when I was a teacher. I like my college courses now. I think I make them fun and exciting for students. Um, but it's not me as much as it's the power of play. It's
Yeah.
the power of play.
Hmm.
I'm just the delivery person, of that
Yeah.
power. So,
So, Jed, how does play foster a sense of belonging with children or adults?
well, I want to say this right up front. Disclaimer, it can it can sometimes feel exclusionary for some kids if
Hmm.
they don't feel like they have the skill
Yeah.
to participate. I immediately think about PE for me often felt exclusionary
Uh-huh.
because I didn't feel like I have the skill. So I loved elementary PE because it was focused on team building and inclusion, whereas middle school PE was sports and division and winning, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think when you think about play as an inclusive idea, um, you as a teacher have to make sure that you structure your playful moments that build that. If you know that you have a student, if you're putting them in groups, right? And if you know you have a student who doesn't do well with like board games, then you might not want to put them in that station. Put them somewhere where they will thrive. And I just read about this in my children's literature book. Knowing your students is vital to whatever you're doing as a teacher. So knowing your students there, that helps to build that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because then what happens is if you put them you're setting them up for the success that they need. If you create and structure playful things that are going to allow students to shine, that's what builds that belonging and inclusion. I remember a specific kid that I had um, years ago. He is now, I think he's a sophomore or junior in college. Um, and he absolutely was obsessed with Hannah Montana. Do you hear me? Obsessed with Hannah Montana.
Oh my
And
gosh.
every single day at recess, he would want to come over and sing for me Hannah Montana songs. And I loved it, loved it, loved it. Well, one day it was indoor recess time. And this particular day, it was raining, and he just so happened he brought a Hannah Montana wig to school, right? So when we got to time to divvy up indoor recess, and we had our different stations. We had an art station, a game board station, drawing on the iPads, drawing on the dry erase board, all these different things. He said, "Mr. Dearberry, could I make a karaoke station for recess today?" And I was like, you know what? I love this idea. I love this idea. That kid put the wig on. He pulled up some Hannah Montana on the Promethean board.
Hmm.
He put on a show for the whole class all recess. He was the indoor recess that day. It was like being at a concert. It was amazing. He felt so valued and accepted and like he belonged in our class. There are teachers that wouldn't have done that and wouldn't have built that belonging.
Yeah.
That moment was so valuable to him, you know. He went. This same kid went on. He was very quirky. I loved him, but he went on in his middle school days. He started his own YouTube channel to teach people how to play the recorder. He
Nice.
did, and he would play that. He would get on the screen, and he was just a natural performer, and I think that having a teacher who allowed that play to flourish, it built that belonging for him. It built his confidence. I mean, what middle schooler is going to create a YouTube channel how to play a recorder? This one did. He felt. I mean, I love this kid to this day. I love this kid. Um,
That's amazing because you appealed to his interests, and through
yeah,
that, you
and
created
that
a sense of belonging for him.
correct, and that's what play does because
Hmm.
ultimately, when we write the book, we had a hard time deciding on a definition for play. And basically, what we landed on, it was anything that brings you joy while you're doing it,
Yeah.
where you
Love
get
that.
lost in the flow. And like right now, I'm having a blast with y'all. And I glance
We're
up
in
at
the
the
flow.
clock.
We're in the play flow.
We're almost at an hour. We've been
I
talking
know.
almost
I
an
know.
hour.
Yeah. So, in your book, The Playful Classroom, you have play personalities.
Yes,
And I believe they originated from Stuart Brown, who is the
yes.
play guru of the world. Can you tell us a little for the audience who hasn't read your book yet and hasn't heard about play personalities? Can you
Yes.
talk about them a little bit?
So there are 8 of them.
Hmm.
And I will confess out loud right now that I have not named them out loud verbally in a hot
Oh,
minute.
don't
Okay.
worry about that.
No,
Just generally.
I'm
Oh,
going to
you're
do.
going
Okay.
to. Oh,
Because I
wow.
came up
Okay.
with a friend of mine came up with an acronym. So in football, like when you tackle the quarterback, you call that a sack, right?
Yes.
So if you sack Jed, you can remember them all. Okay.
Oh, okay.
S is storyteller.
Okay.
A is artist creative. C is competitor. K is kinesthete. J is joker. E is explorer. And oh, wait. No, there's two C's. There's two C's. Collector.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes, collector. Collector, competitor. Sorry, there's two C's. Kinesthete. Jed is joker. E is explorer. And D is director. Look at that. I named all 8 of them. I named all 8.
Wow.
I
Very
think I held
nice.
up 9 fingers, but there's 8. I promise there's 8. Um, And so
They're
here's
great.
the thing, like we got those based on the work of Stuart Brown. We did in our book create a fun little quiz. Think of like a BuzzFeed type quiz. It's not scientific based, right? So be don't be highly offended if it doesn't match what you think you are. But I will say that your play personality is you might have one that you lean to the most often, but it's very fluid based on your mood. Now there are some hard, fast no's for me. Like I am not a competitor. I don't want to be. I do not like playing. I will do family game night with board games, but competing is just not my thing.
So you
Uh,
don't like Dutch Blitz if you've ever played that.
I have played Dutch
I
Blitz.
love Dutch Blitz.
I have 2 decks. I have 2 decks in there right now.
So do I. Yeah.
And I play with my friends Sam and Christina and their kids, but
Yeah. That's
I
competitive.
it is competitive. Um, there are some moments of competition that I enjoy, but for me, um, I often get number one is storytelling. I love telling stories verbally. I love writing the stories. I love listening to stories. I'm a reader. That is also part of being a storyteller. Artist creator is also very high on my list.
Yeah.
I think the two merge for me. Storytelling is art for me, so I think that they go together. Um, Collector. I often get that one as well. And I thought one day I was like, what? I don't collect things. And then if you look around my office here,
I know, it's just,
like I like little
My
stuffy things.
gosh.
And then up here on there's more up there, and then over here I collect books, and I collect pens and art materials, and I am a little bit of a collector of things. I like things. Um, and then competitors, the other one. Kinesthete is a person who likes to move.
mhm,
Not necessarily an athlete, but somebody who likes to stand, to be active,
mhm,
um, up and about.
yeah,
Um, the Joker, they thrive off of laughter. They
mhm,
love to make people laugh. They like to laugh. TV shows that make them laugh, comedy movies, and things like that. Explorer is not just someone who likes to travel, but they like to try new things. They would love to go to the new Asian fusion buffet in town and eat a little bit of everything,
ooh,
right?
that sounds good. I could eat some of that right now.
See, okay, so you might have a little bit of an explorer vibe in you. And then
Oh, yeah.
director, a lot of teachers often fall into the director because they like to plan and organize.
Yeah.
Plan and organize their
Sure.
space, plan and organize the lesson, plan
Yeah.
and organize a themed party for their kids. Also, this is the person who usually likes to do like plan a bridal shower or a baby shower or a party. Um, you know,
Yeah,
things like
that's playful.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Oh, so good. That's great. Thanks for sharing all that. So, we like to finish every podcast with one tip or something that you can give our listeners that they can try today or try tomorrow in a classroom setting, or parents can do at home. What would be your takeaway tip that you would want to share with our listeners?
Okay. I'm going to tell you, I'll give you one that I think is
Oh, he's getting a prop.
very easy. And I think I did this with y'all. I don't know, but this is a go-to. It's easy. You probably have one of these around your house.
A
Yeah.
ruler. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a basic
12-inch
ruler.
ruler. Yep.
It's a basic 12-inch ruler.
Uh-huh.
I like the wooden ones just because this feels like nostalgic to me, but you can have a plastic, twisty one, whatever.
Okay.
Um, Sit down by yourself, ask your kids to do it, ask your students to do it as a family around the dinner table. Have a ruler in the car, wherever you're going, whatever you're doing, have this ruler. And as you are in the midst of whatever you're doing,
Hmm.
ask everyone to think of alternative uses for this ruler other than measurement or straight line. Kind of like what I was saying earlier about the a pen.
Mm-hmm.
Do this with a ruler because the ruler is a very fixed object. It's for measurement, right? We see
Uh-huh.
it. Oh, we only measure things with it, but you can do so many things with a ruler other than measurement or drawing straight lines. You can do so much more. Um, this is a fun, playful activity experience to increase your creative thinking. It also increases your critical thinking because you have to think about what you can do with a ruler. Um, and you also are playing while you're doing it.
Okay.
Because naturally, this will turn into a prop where you are sword fighting, where you're conducting with a baton, where you're bouncing it on your hand, where you're scratching your back.
Think of that. Back scratch.
Yeah, where it just
Yeah.
naturally will turn into a prop. So I did say have it in your car, so maybe the driver should not be holding the ruler at any time, hands on the wheel, but pass it around the car to other people. It is this is one of my favorite things to do because you are playing and you could even make it a game. Okay, who makes the car go, wow, that was a great idea? Who
Mm.
makes the classroom go, ooh,
Yeah.
you know?
But
Those
I
are
love, I'm thinking
yeah,
too, if you're in the car on a trip
yeah,
and everyone names something that they're going to use with the ruler,
yeah.
you
In the
can make it
car.
like, I'm going to grandma's house. I'm going to use my ruler for
Oh, yeah.
this. And
I
then you
love
have to
that.
recite
Yeah.
Add
everybody's,
Oh
language.
yeah, like a memory
yeah,
game. Yeah.
yeah,
See?
memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. You just add a whole nother layer to that I hadn't even thought of. I love it.
Ah,
Exciting. I
That's
love
how
it.
that is how play inspires creativity. Because look at that. You just took it
Right.
up to another
Just
level.
that conversation.
Yeah, I love it.
wonderful.
Well, thank you for listening to Plant the Seed of Learning today. We were so fortunate to have Jed and hear all his wonderful ideas about creativity, imagination, and all things play. We want to thank our guests, past and present, for sharing their knowledge and their work. A special thank you to our producer, Penn Ketchum, who is so speedy and efficient. You can find our podcast wherever you listen on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple. We can't wait to learn from you and plant more seeds of learning together.